Hello, my name is Eliza Maron, and I am the host of the Daily Run with Za, where it's not just about the run, it's about how the run sustains us. So today, since it's the first episode here on the Daily Run with Za, and I do apologize ahead of time, I am new to this podcast thing. I'm just doing it from my phone, so we can only hope it'll get better from here. So a little bit about the Daily Run with Za podcast is essentially I'll be sharing some stories of and lessons I've learned over running every single day for 18 years. We will also be interviewing some other streak runners. So if you go over to runeveryday.com, there's a whole list of streak runners all over the world that have been running every single day from, as little as 1 year to 50 years. So that'll be my dad and I hosting that. My dad has a streak run of over 15 years now, and we both like to encourage and inspire each other and through our daily run. But today is a little introduction into how I started running every day. And anyway, if you'd like to sit back and enjoy this story. So I was 16. I was your average high schooler, but I was on a mission at a very young age to seek the truth. What was this life about? I didn't know, but what I did know is that life moves too fast, and I wanted a way to remember each day. So I began to run, and it wasn't initially for the purpose of remembering each day, but that's why I committed to doing it every day. And I used to despise running. My mom would try to encourage me to run when I was younger, and she'd actually pay me $1 for every mile that I ran, which didn't really serve to my favor because most summers I would make about $3. But in the spring of 2002, I began to love running, and it literally just happened one morning. The sun started to wake up earlier, and so did I. I got out early before school and enjoyed the calm, quiet time of day, and I had this feeling of completeness. By fall, I looked back and realized I hadn't missed a day for almost 2 months, so I decided to commit for a year. I began to love the challenge, the work ethic, and the physical benefits that came from running. And I loved how on a chilly December evening, when most people were cozy inside, I took a few strides alongside of a deer who was also on a run. Running made me feel closer to nature, closer to myself. And so, I didn't stop. The years went by and the run turned into competition and racing. While I still loved the feeling of running, I was becoming discouraged and bitter. Girls on my college team were running twice as fast as me off of half of my training mileage. My entire self-worth was based on what time I would run in the 5K. Every season in college, I would have some sort of injury. Most runners would take the day off. But I continued to struggle through the miles. I developed runner's knee, where the cartilage in your patella gets so worn down that I had to run like Forrest Gump, as though my legs were in braces, so I had to run with straight legs looping out to the side. I had low iron, severe blisters that made running in shoes unbearable, and plantar fasciitis, where every step was excruciating pain. It was when I became face-to-face with these injuries that I remembered the real reason I ran. I didn't run for coaches or colleagues or achieving any sort of time or award. I ran for myself, and that is why I continued running through these injuries and difficult emotions. The run was the one thing I had where I could connect to myself. After college, I began to train for marathons, and I dedicated my existence to that daily run. Everything revolved around the run. I was living the life of an elite athlete with a mediocre race pace, and was training in upwards of 90 miles per week, making myself too tired to do anything else but run and train. I ended up meeting my husband on a run, simply by running past where he said, "Hi, what's your name?" And life quickly changed around me, especially as I began to delve deeper in yoga philosophy and a search for the truth. I began to travel the world, and where the run would hold me back from travel before, I knew I needed to move on from training and discouragement and grow as a person. I loved running a few miles in the woods with the dogs just as much as pounding the pavement for 20 miles. I began to make multiple journeys to India in search of furthering my understanding in yoga, and in doing so, I faced my fear of potentially sacrificing my running streak by traveling overseas. Life became chaotic and unpredictable, and the run was the one thing that was constant and stable. Over several trips to India, I ran a 5K in a layover in Heathrow Airport with a backpack on and arrived to customs drenched with sweat. At a layover in Paris, a stranger kindly watched my bag as I ran up and down the airport hallway to get in 2 miles. Merci. During Ramadan in the Abu Dhabi airport, I ran through crowds of people up and down the small, crowded terminal. And on another layover in Paris, I pushed my 14-month-old in an airline stroller up and down the terminal for a few miles before boarding the plane. I ran through crowds of people off a bus stop in the middle of Bangalore, India. I ran through the smog in Delhi. My daily run in India consisted of getting chased by stray, rabid dogs before sunrise. I ran past the slums where kids would be waiting to run a few minutes with me. I was criticized for running in the yoga tradition because it only creates tight hip flexors and tight hamstrings. But no one could tell me not to run, not even doctors. I ran through 2 pregnancies, running through contractions, which are a similar feeling to muscle cramps. I ran 4 hours after my first son was born and 10 hours after my second son was born. The run served as the one thing that made me go outside and leave my husband's side as he recovered from brain surgery in the ICU. I realized that I was escaping from the situation physically, but was able to connect with it emotionally on that day's run. Running was my only excuse to take a break from 2 screaming babies. I savored those 20 minutes of breathing the fresh air, alone with my thoughts, connecting to myself for perhaps the first time in that day. I ended up as a single mom, and getting in a few miles looked different every day. It wasn't glamorous. It was borderline abandonment. I ran loops around the trampoline as they played. I pushed 70 pounds of little boys in a stroller with flat tires. I set up cameras during nap time so I could slip away for 20 minutes, with all sorts of mom guilt scenarios flooding my mind. I learned that it was possible to run holding a newborn and even a 3-year-old, but it was surely not fun or efficient. So this isn't a story of not missing a day in 18 years of running. This is a story of how something so simple as a run has sustained me throughout this life. The run to me is more like brushing my teeth. Something I need to do every day, a commitment out of habit and necessity for self-care. And it's only when I reflect back through everything that the run is not just about running. It's about the daily ritual of perseverance, strength, and survival. Whatever the case may be, it's just something that I do, and after 18 years, I'm ready to share it. The daily run is so achievable to anyone. It's about taking 10 to 20 minutes away from your day to connect to yourself. I can't promise that you'll enjoy it, and there's no guarantee that you won't forget to do your run, but I can assure you that it's a journey of self-transformation. How the daily run can sustain you is the only thing left to be discovered.